6, a 5, 6, 7, 8. Welcome back to Girls Unscripted, Gabbers. My name is Carolyn.
My name is still Kate.
And we are Girls Unscripted.
Woo! We're remote today because I completely forgot that I have a trip in the desert. Not a trip. I'm not that cool.
Well, your background looks almost fake. It looks like it's a green screen, like desert option.
It kind of does. Well, I wanted to actually do this outside so you guys could see like the vast desert, but I was afraid of the sound. It's not windy today, but oh my God, it was so windy yesterday. I thought I was going to have, you know, at Coachella when you like if you don't wear your face mask.
Oh, yeah. It gets great.
It's just horrible. But
yeah.
So I'm in the desert. My boyfriend and I are doing a bit of a staycation because he's working remote this week and it's been really nice. But Carolyn, actually, Dan and I almost texted you and Kyle last night and I was like, I'm actually just going to tell her on the pod. You guys got us a bottle of wine for our housewarming and it was very fancy wine. And Dan and I have been waiting for the right moment to open it and we opened it last night.
Oh,
we made some steaks and we drank the nice wine and it was very good.
Oh, I'm so happy you enjoyed it. Did you make sweet, sweet love?
My parents listen to this. Yeah.
I just mean spiritually, I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Spiritually, yes. I made love to the wine glass because that wine was good. And it was a Pinot Noir, which isn't typically my go-to, but now I may change my ways a little bit.
That's what I'm here for, is just to push you outside your comfort box.
So what's up? What's new with you, Carolyn?
Okay, so we went to our friend's place, who is a DJ, and he was, again, I'm very cool in my improv.
2 DJ weekends in a row.
I know. So I feel like such a DJ wife. And I played with the little thing, so I feel really professional.
Wait, what does that mean? You played with the little thing? Oh, like the deck?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
with all
cool.
the little buttons of the reverb. I basically was just pressing buttons. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Okay.
But I went to my friend's house. He was in my improv group in college. We were different years, so we didn't overlap. But he was like, you should come over. His address was at the top of Topanga Canyon off a dirt-ass road that we had to go for a quarter of a mile. And it was this sick shack studio that's he's made that like overlooks the canyon. It's absolutely gorgeous. And he's like a really good DJ. And his name is Friends Of. So,
I like that name.
Which is it's close to Short Dads, but not really. He was telling me about his new girlfriend who designs food and bev logos. And she worked on this drink called New Brew. Have you heard of this?
No, let me look it up. It kind of actually sounds familiar though.
So it's not alcohol.
Oh, a euphoric seltzer. Yeah, okay.
But it's apparently this like crazy loophole of a drink where it gives you opioid-like effects. It's banned in 6 states. It's and we tried these New Brews. And they're the best fucking thing ever. I think they're actually addictive, so like I need to watch out. But they're hilarious. You gotta check these out. New brews are gonna be the new brew, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, they had to check my ID. It's like a controlled substance.
Wow, I mean, not sponsored, but should it be?
Yeah.
And it says, alcohol-free and cannabis-free.
Right?
How?
I know. So you heard it here first, Gabbers. New brews. Check it out. Be responsible.
Wow, interesting. They're just doing anything these days.
I know, right? I think it'll be like Four
Anything.
Loko. It will be legal for like 2 months longer.
Yeah, and then like 10 years from now, we'll be like, oh, remember New Brew? Oh, I wish I got a New Brew.
Like, can you believe they let us drink those things?
I never had original recipe for Loco.
That's a
I
shame.
was in like 10th grade when they were like really big, and I wasn't really drinking like that back then.
Oh, well, sounds like you were a good girl.
Or a loser.
I was gonna say loser, then I pivoted last moment.
That was nice of you. I'll say it. I'm a loser.
The other thing I wanted to say is yesterday I did a formal bed rotting session with one of my best friends. And so had her over and we were like, let's watch reality TV all day. And we watched, drumroll please, Farmer Wants a Wife.
I need to know your review.
We also watched some 90 Day Fiancé.
Classic.
Farmer Wants a Wife. If y'all are looking for something that you can throw up and perform neurosurgery during, because it might actually make you dumber, this is the show for you. It's fantastic. I love it. The premise is exactly as it sounds. The farmer he wants a wife.
The Bachelor, but he works on a farm. It's basically what it is, right? And there's a new season on right now.
Yes,
and the
so that's
people
what
they're all attractive.
They're all attractive, and I'm like, girls, you do not want to work on a farm. There are 4 farms. There's like one in California. I'd fuck with that farm. That's an avocado farm. There's one in Arkansas. We've got Missouri. There's one in Florence, Alabama. Roll Tide. So, pick your farm or pick your place.
Well, you'd be surprised. My boyfriend's from Minnesota, and a lot of his friends and his friends' parents and even his own dad grew up living and working on a farm. So his sister-in-law, she grew up on a farm and worked on a farm every single day, like before school. It was just so second nature to her that now she doesn't work on the farm anymore. But you go to their house, they have quail, they have turkey, they have like people just are used to that and they like it. Like I get it. It's like gardening.
Oh my God. When I was in 8th grade, we did an out west trip to Wyoming. And I remember thinking I could be a cowgirl. Like this could be made for me. Just living on a beautiful farm. I'm glad I didn't go that route, but it does seem very lovely.
It's not the route for me.
Right.
I need a 7-Eleven in walking distance personally.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the route for some people.
Okay, just wanted to review Farmer Wants a Wife. Tell me what's happening in reality TV land.
So there has been a lot happening in reality TV. I'll tell you some quick things real fast. Mm-hmm. So Erin from The Real Housewives of New York had her baby.
I saw that. Very cute.
So I think she now has 3 boys, 1 girl, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I think it was a baby boy. Leva quit Southern Charm.
Was she ever on Southern Charm?
That's the response. Let me tell you this, though. I went on you know how Wikipedia will show like how many seasons they were a guest, how many seasons they were a friend, how many seasons they were main cast? She's been on every single season. She's the only person other than Craig, Shep, Whitney, and Miss Patricia that has been on every single season.
My jaw's on the floor. Really?
So, I mean, she was always like a guest and a friend, and it wasn't until season 8 that she became a main cast member. But I mean, she was great. She was best friends with Cameron. I just rewatched the very first episode of Southern Charm, and she's in every scene that Cameron's in.
That's hilarious. Love Cameron.
I loved Cameron too. And I feel like a lot of people were like, Leva, you didn't need to do like this big farewell post. And I'm like, she didn't need to in current day, but I'm sure for her, Southern Charm has just felt like such a big part of her life.
Well, now that it's been a decade, right? Like this has been a big chunk of her life. So, okay, I take it back.
But allegedly, her and Cameron are not friends anymore, and it happened when she started on the show. So that's some tea. That's what I heard.
Oh, yikes. Oh, I hate that.
Craig Conover is allegedly dating this new woman named Natalie Buffett.
Who is Natalie Buffett?
So there were reports that Natalie Buffett was at Watch What Happens Live with Craig, because when Craig went on Watch What Happens Live, he said he's dating someone, one girl and one girl only. The world works in mysterious ways, basically alluding to the fact that he's like with someone he had been with before.
She's hot. Is she a model?
Yeah, like an Instagram model.
Got it. Okay.
So obviously the internet, she used to date Dak Prescott, who was a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. The internet was a buzz. Everyone thinks it's her. Her and Craig did, I guess, have a fling back in 2019, whatever. But then I got a DM from someone that said, it's funny, like I got a DM from someone being like, oh, I know Natalie, blah, 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 blah. Then I got a DM from someone else that was like, I was actually at Watch What Happens Live. Keep me anonymous, but it wasn't Natalie. The girl that was in the front row that everyone thinks Natalie is just someone that works at Sewing Down South. Like, and then she like sent me photos and videos of her like at Watch What Happens Live. So I don't know what to believe. But it's crazy how I feel like one person said, oh, it's Natalie Buffett. And then like Us Weekly, TMZ, like everyone's reporting on it.
Oh, I know. That's the reality lore. I mean, it doesn't take much for a rumor to take flight.
No. And obviously, Miss Buffett isn't saying anything because she's probably gained like 10,000 Instagram followers in the last 3 days.
No such thing as bad press.
No. Other than that, we have the Southern Charm reunion that aired last week, which was a bit of a tough watch. The Vanita and JT thing is a bit confusing. Craig being in denial about Paige is a bit tough to listen to, and kind of I don't really care, to be honest with you. I'm watching this reunion and I'm like, I don't care.
She doesn't care, people.
I don't know. I can't even get into Paige and Craig right now.
I watched it too, and I felt like it was kind of like how we feel about The Valley sometimes, where it's like there's a lot going on that we don't really know. And I feel like Vanita was trying to put it out all on the table, but JT was just refusing to put it all out on the table because I don't think it looked good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig, I'm a Paige girly. Whatever he says, I'm rolling my eyes at. I can't help it. I'm sorry, Craig.
I think he even said it was either in the reunion or on Watch What Happens Live. He was like, I just wish she would have been honest with me. I'm like, dude, there are clips on clips on clips on clips of her being honest with you about what she's wanted this whole time. You're the one that isn't honest ever.
Yeah, and I was just watching the Watch What Happens Live with Andy and Craig, and he was in so much denial, and Andy was like, no, but we see scenes where she is not as into it as you think. And he's like, yeah, no, she was into it. And he's like, but I'm just saying her feelings are real. And he was like, nah, yeah, no, she thought I was really supportive. It was like, Craig, come on.
Carolyn, that was the perfect reenactment. That was exactly how it went. And Andy was kind of holding Craig accountable, and I think Andy loves Craig, but he was kind of like, dude, come on.
You can't
how can you watch that? How can you watch that? And honestly, it's a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been Craig's biggest fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think we forget. I think Craig, it's funny, I was talking about this over the weekend with some girls because these girls were like, I was at a picnic and they were like, we want to pick your brain about Craig. And I was like, okay. And they were like, our moms are obsessed with Craig. Our moms think Craig can do no wrong. And I understand that because I think that Craig is so good at being like, I just loved her and she didn't love me back. And I think for some women, someone like Craig is the ideal man. He just wants to get married. He wants to have kids. He wants to take care of you. He wants to live in a big house. He wants to raise a family with a big backyard. Yeah, that's great. That's not what Paige wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And Paige couldn't have been clearer that that's not what she wanted. As much of you want to give Paige shit, you got to give Craig the same amount of shit. They were both kind of in denial. She shouldn't have been dating him and he shouldn't have stayed with her. But I can understand why some women are like, oh, Craig, he just wants love. It's the same reason why people love Tom Schwartz.
Doofus at it?
Well.
Because...
or just being good at playing a little puppy dog, the puppy dog edit.
Yeah, but the puppy dog gets really drunk and mean. And I know that that's been taken out of the equation because he's sober as of now. Is he still sober? Do we know about that? I hope so.
That's another thing because it's he's sober yet he's the face of Spritz Society.
Yeah.
Yet I think he only doesn't drink liquor. I think he still drinks beer and wine. I mean, the whole Bahamas trip, he's literally drinking champagne out the bottle.
Yeah.
A lot of people online are confused. It's so you have this big moment with Austin where you tell him you're an addict, but you're fucked up while you're telling him.
To me, the addict, I'm not going to go there.
Well, it's definitely a drug thing for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been pretty open that he was on Adderall as well.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, did you watch Summer House this week?
Sure did.
Do you believe that Jesse Solomon only got his toe sucked for the 37 minutes that he was in that bedroom?
He was in there for 37 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, well, the silence was my mind reeling. Well, now I don't think so. If he was just watching for 30, then either he's a voyeur or something happened more than toes.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not going to take credit for this statement. I definitely saw this online, but we're seeing love bombing happen in real time. Where any moment he gets, he's calling Lexi, he's texting Lexi, he's FaceTiming Lexi. But the one fucking weekend that Lexi doesn't show up, he's flirting with Ciara the whole time very openly. And then, sure, maybe he did only get his toe sucked, which even that, if my boyfriend got his toe sucked, I'd be like, that's a little weird. But the fact that he went into that room knowing that they were all fucking in there.
Yeah.
That's not something, I don't know. I still like Jesse, but Jesse doesn't need to be in a relationship. Jesse was likable because he was a single guy that didn't get entangled with anybody in the house. It was kind of funny when he would bring a girl home. We'd kind of root for him a little bit because that's Jesse. But now that we're watching him love bomb Lexi, lead Ciara on, it's confusing to me and it's not a good look.
And you know who I think it's more confusing to? Jesse Solomon. I mean, he's giving the airs of someone who just has never liked someone before and has never been in a position to commit to someone before. I mean, it is very bizarre behavior. Oh my God. His song. Have we talked about his song?
What's it called? On My Own Way or On My Own? I think it's On My Own.
I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I thought it was interesting because that showed, at least he says I'm still working on it. He has a lot to work on.
Into My Own, yeah.
He has a long way to go. If he thinks that conversation with Ciara, that conversation with Craig and Amanda about how he likes Ciara isn't going to be shown and then get back to Lexi is cuckooville. That's crazy.
Right. I'm not necessarily a Jesse and Lexi stan either, but I do feel bad for Lexi. She hasn't done anything, in my opinion, she hasn't done anything wrong. I know everyone's saying well, she's jealous. It's she told you a boundary she has. If she's going to date you, if she's going to have sex with you, she wants you to be the only person that you're both hooking up with, each other only.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want you to post flirty things publicly online. I know that's like the Jesse Solomon bit, but I get that. And I feel like they're using that to be like, oh, Lexi, she's kind of jealous. It's like, no, she has a healthy boundary. And I do feel bad that the one weekend, because they're not going to fucking tell her. They're all shipping him and Ciara getting together. The girls, Paige and Amanda, definitely want that to happen. I'm sure Ciara has expressed before that she liked Jesse. So my friend Passmore actually brought up a good point. She was like, Amanda is seeing in real time how Jesse is treating Lexi, yet she's still wanting Ciara to get with Jesse. And it's like, because I'm sure they just want their friend to be happy.
Yeah.
And that's what they want.
And the house has a reputation for being dysfunctional as it is. And I mean, I guess there is something to say of like, look, that ship sailed, but has it? I don't know. What do you think?
What, the ship of Jesse and Lexi?
Of Jesse and Ciara.
I think something happens between them.
Really?
I do. I think because we've seen in previews, maybe they just heavily flirt. I remember in a lot of pre-season interviews and previews where they all said Jesse Solomon has a lot to answer to this season.
Yeah.
Basically alluding that he was a fuckboy. And then we see in the trailers of like Lexi saying that she doesn't trust Ciara. Like there's a lot of messiness there for sure. But I also think even West would be rooting that on. Because I think if Jesse and Ciara hook up, then Ciara will have less energy to focus on West. You know what I mean? It's like Jesse would almost be doing him a favor.
I think West would care. Because I know Jesse kind of asked, would you be upset if you saw her with someone else? He didn't say if you saw her with me. Like, I think they are so much of bros that he would get upset. Maybe I'm wrong. I do know that he's like anxious to get the pressure off of him and onto somebody else at this point. But who knows? I don't know. I'm toxically kind of rooting for them a little bit as well. But I also don't want that because he's clearly a fuckboy and I don't want Ciara to go through that again with yet another fuckboy.
And yet another reality TV mediocre white man fuckboy. Like Ciara is so much better than this. Like I cannot wait to see the person that she ends up with. Because think about it. She's been with Luke, Austin Kroll, and West. It's like we didn't see the Luke thing play out on TV, but she was with him, which I didn't dislike Luke, by the way, when he was on Summer House.
Yeah, he was fine.
He was fine. But yeah, I'm hoping for a bit more for her. Also, I just learned that Jesse Solomon lives in Florida.
Like full time?
Yeah, like he was on a TikTok live and I was watching and he said, the first season I started Summer House, I was planning to move to Florida in the fall. And they said, that's okay. You can be on the show anyways. So his like main apartment is Florida, but he does have like a place in New York as well.
Where in Florida?
I don't know. Maybe near Miami because he's at Ultra Music Festival this week.
Oh, okay.
And he's hanging out with a bunch of like Gen Z influencers, which for some reason is a bit of a turnoff for me.
Yes, that all sounds about on brand.
All right. Well, in this week's episode of Vanderpump Rules, we are on season 2, episode 10, Sir, which means south, of the border.
I see what they did there.
I see what they did there too. I don't think I caught it the first time.
They're so smart.
We start off this episode at the little swimsuit boutique where Stassi and Christina Kelly are going swimsuit shopping. All I could think of is like when I was 25 and even now, I was not buying swimsuits at a booth. I was buying swimsuits from Target is what I'm getting at. Like they're spending $80 on bikinis at 25 years old on a restaurant salary.
Well,
am I thinking too far into this?
You're a little okay. So I'm going to defend it a little bit because one of the swimsuits she tries on is a swimsuit that I had for all of my 20s. And it was like, I only had like 2. So if I only bought like 2, I was going to have like a fancy ass one and another fancy ass one and just kind of like rotate between them.
That's fair.
But agreed. It's like, I didn't start going to Target for swimsuits till like closer to now.
I'm just a cheap bitch. I used to get mine from Walmart as well. Walmart used to have the Ocean Pacific brand. You know that brand?
Oh, nice. I do not.
Yeah. So I used to get that. But I'm also just so cheap. But yeah, maybe I should invest in a good swimsuit.
And then let me be clear. Once I went to Target, I haven't been back. So clearly, I think Target has more pros than getting a nice one because like they all are the same.
Totally. This whole scene is kind of like, it reminded me of like an early 2000s like movie montage of like a fashion show in the fitting room at the mall. Like we just see Stassi and Christina Kelly trying on all these different swimsuits. Their bodies are insane. Like it was just giving like so like early 2000s movie.
I know. Let me tell you, if I were with them, I would not be partaking. I would be such a fangirl, again, like just cheering them on.
Yeah, I'd be like, you guys look great.
Yeah, like,
I'm keeping my winter coat on.
So good, sweetie. Keep going. Buy it.
Yeah. No, I'm good here. I'm good here over just in this seat right here. No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Nowadays, I don't even try on swimsuits at Target. I just pick up one. I'm like, if it doesn't fit, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I'll burn it.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this scene, Stassi reveals that Jax wasn't invited to her birthday, but he's coming anyways because you just can't stop him. I'm like, well, it's because you guys are on a TV show. That's why Jax is going.
Yeah.
Then the next scene, Lisa and Peter go to a restaurant store to buy restaurant supplies.
No.
Boring.
Wait. I do have something about this scene.
Go on.
Did you
Oh, well, I think I probably the same thing. But go ahead.
I was dying for like way day one Girls Unscripted girlies. We used to have the famous Sir Candle holder that Kate herself had taken from the restaurant. So when Lisa's saying, I get all these pepper shakers, salt shakers, and they're gone, who would be someone to steal that type of thing? I was raising my hand and I said, I know a bitch that would steal that type of thing. And I'm guilty as well of stealing a good memento from a nice place or two.
Yeah. Actually, what I have written down is not that, but I did
really?
clock that. I did clock that as well. I wanted to point out that Peter's claiming to Lisa he's going to Cabo for moral support for Stassi, which is obviously bullshit. He just wants to go to Cabo.
Yeah.
But then he basically admits that he goes to Tijuana to buy drugs.
Oh, yeah, that was so funny. That was so funny. Well, I was trying to think of what year it was, and I was like, is weed legal yet?
You know what? Interesting. Imagine, just
'Cause I
driving all the way to
don't think he
Mexico
would-
for a little weed.
I don't think he would admit to, like, buying coke in Mexico. Maybe. But as Lisa says, I see him above the others, which was a weird thing to say, by the way. I didn't like that she said that. Because it
Well, but
shows
he is like their manager.
Yeah. But it just shows that she does think about status more than she lets on, of like, they are better than them.
Right. I guess, how she worded it was a bit off.
Yeah.
So then we go to the airport where they're all getting ready to go to Cabo. Everybody's so excited. What I found to be interesting is that both Toms live with their girlfriends, yet they do not travel to the airport together. No. Like, imagine you and Kyle being on the same flight, but you guys going to the airport separately.
Yeah, I was assuming they must have had like a girl sleepover situation or something. Otherwise,
Maybe.
That's crazy. That's so much. That doesn't make any logistical sense. Or the girls were like ready, so it was like, let's just go ahead and go, and the guys can come later. I don't know.
I just think they love to do girl stuff and guy stuff. They love to separate. I mean, when they get to Cabo, they have separate suites, but I understood that because the girl suite was way better. Scheana's also going, even though when Scheana was invited to Cabo, her and Stassi were on good terms, but now they're not. Scheana says that she already booked her flight and her hotel room. That's why she's going, even though she's not on good terms with the girls. What I found to be interesting about that is a bit of a full circle moment here. I'm pretty sure Katie Maloney in season 10 of Vanderpump Rules, I think it was 10, was originally invited to Scheana's wedding and then got uninvited. But Katie had already booked her hotel room, so went anyways. They were all on that trip for Scheana's wedding. And Scheana was so upset that Katie was there. And Katie's excuse was, well, I already booked my room. It's the same exact thing that's happening now in season 2.
You're 100% right. And you know, that storyline felt familiar, but I thought I was just remembering this scene. No, the exact same place. It's Mexico. And Katie has booked the hotel room and Scheana's like, no! Mm-hmm. So, you know, what goes around comes around.
Scheana should know and understand better than anybody that when you book your room and you book your flight, you're going. Even if you have to watch your arch nemesis get married from across the courtyard, you're still showing up.
Yeah. And maybe that's even a plus for them. Of course they're going to go. I mean, I think it's, that's a really good point. I forgot about that.
They all arrive in Cabo. Oh, and this is where they get in the vans to go from the airport to the resort. And I will say, in Scheana's defense, obviously she's not going to get in the car with the girls. They don't like her. Yeah. And me just being in Cabo in September, I don't know exactly where they stayed, but I think I kind of stayed like nearby where everything was. I would assume they were in the similar area. It was about a 45-minute long drive from the airport to where all the resorts are. I don't blame her for not getting in that car. I do blame her for which unfortunately turned into one of her most iconic lines by her saying, I would rather get gangbanged by all 5 of you than be in a van with all 4 of them.
It wasn't her finest moment.
I feel like her and Shay, I think we've said this before, likes being with like the hot girl. But like, I just can't believe he let Scheana say this shit.
And maybe again, this is like just showing so much my toxicity. I also, there's no way in hell if I were Scheana, I would get in that van of sharks. I'm a little minnow and they've already like expressed their interest in my blood. But I think Scheana thought she was being funny. She thought she was doing a vulgar joke to be like one of the dudes in the guy's van and that she was just fitting in. And obviously, she didn't actually want to be gangbanged by those 5 I mean, there's no way that was an actual desire of hers. She was making a joke. So I do see both sides of it. Of like, I could see myself saying something stupid like that and regretting it later.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And it is like, she is, in her defense, like in an uncomfortable position where she's on a trip where all the girls not only are like, don't like her, but are outwardly mean to her in her like in front of her face.
Oh.
So she is, you're right. She's trying to fit in with these guys. She even says later in the episode, I'm a guy's girl.
Yeah.
But I understand it's easier to get along. If you're in that position, it's easier to get along with guys than it is with girls. But maybe that is something that Scheana at this stage of her life needs to maybe reflect on, of why do all the girls hate me so much?
Well, Stassi makes a good point later of she doesn't trust girls that say that I'm a guy's girl, I don't get along with girls, because there is something inherently unsettling about a girl that can't get along with a group of women. And I do agree with that.
And I mean, look, girls can be really mean. Like some girls can be really mean. I think that this group of girlfriends was not the group of girlfriends Scheana should be. I mean, she could get along with Ariana. That's the thing. It's like, Scheana had girlfriends. She was just in a tough situation.
That's true. And to be devil's advocate, I don't think many people should be friends with this group of girls at this point in their lives, because it's not a healthy environment.
Not at all. Oh my God. Also, I just saw this TikTok that was so true. I kind of forget this. I feel like we blow over this, but do you remember Scheana admitted to making out with Schwartz in Vegas while him and Katie were together?
I remember she admitted that. I forget that it's while that they were together.
Yeah, this was all like admitted during a lot of like Scandival, but basically it's a couple seasons from now where Schwartz admits he did make out with someone in Vegas in the back alley to Katie. Turns out now that we're older, we know that that person was Scheana. Like him and Scheana had like a drunk, stupid makeout in a casino in Vegas. So I saw this TikTok that said the girls were right about Scheana the whole time. They didn't want her in that group because they thought she was a homewrecker for what she did with Brandy. And it turned out that Scheana proved them right. She was a homewrecker by making out with Schwartz. Something like that.
Was it confirmed that they made out? Because wasn't she maintaining it? We didn't even kiss. He kissed me for like 2 seconds and I was like, no, Schwartz.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Oh yeah, here it is, the first Reddit thing. Let's not skate over the Scheana and Schwartz kiss like it was nothing. I hate that the show pivoted so quickly when they made out in Vegas. Yeah, I guess no one really thought to really follow up on that one too much.
Like, how much was the kiss? Yeah, if I were the girlfriend, I'd want to know, like, details. Like, how much tongue, how many seconds, how many people were around, where were the witnesses?
I think at this point, Katie and Schwartz weren't together anymore. But still, I mean, that's horrible. That's horrible.
That is horrible.
To just have people in your life keep a lie from you for that long is just, it's kind of traumatizing.
Well, and to be in their wedding.
And that is what they talked about.
Can you imagine?
During this time.
I mean, when you get married and like if you do bridesmaids, I think you said you like might not want to, but the thought of one of my bridesmaids doing that to me like makes me want to throw up in this cup. Like that's such a bad feeling.
No. Oh God, there's so many layers to this show. It's a giant onion.
Yep.
They arrive at the hotel. The girls have their own room. The boys have their own room. Scheana and Shay have their own room. Normally I would be like, why aren't the girls staying with their boyfriends? But in this situation, like I said earlier, I completely get it. Like, and it does, like, if when you live with your boyfriend, like it is kind of fun to like, if your boyfriend is friends with the other guys, then yeah, you should stay in a suite with all your girlfriends. Who cares?
Yeah, and there are so many, as you get older, there are less and less opportunities to have girls' trips where you're all together and can be in the same room. And there's nothing like getting ready together and unready together and like debriefing the night together. And I think it's cute that they do that.
I agree. We do have like a little quick flashback to Sir during all of this where Lisa is trying food. And look, I know that times were different back then and people love Lisa Vanderpump and that's the whole reason Vanderpump Rules existed. But I wish that now, like, they should take notes from Southern Hospitality where, like, when the crew goes on a trip in Southern Hospitality, we're not looking at Republic.
Yeah.
We are only on the group trip. We're not seeing what Leva's doing.
They did that twice this episode. And the other scene that we'll get to of at Villa Rosa's house, they spent a whole act almost on there.
Yes,
and I was
boring.
like, literally no one cares. I mean, I guess the stories were interesting of how they met, but I think this is the beginning of this format type of show where they're like, well, it's about a restaurant. Don't we have to show the restaurant? And I think we learned from this, no. You don't have to show it. We don't really care what's happening at the restaurant if everyone who works there is in Cabo. We want to go to Cabo.
Also, Lisa Vanderpump is such a bigger star than Leva is. So it's like maybe people did want to see Lisa, or at least it's only season 2. Maybe they thought people would want to see Lisa more, but I don't.
Yeah. Take me to the club.
Take me to the club. Well, first they're getting ready for the club.
Yes.
No one has a blow dryer. That's the drama. Jax is flipping out. I don't think Jax even needed a blow dryer. I think Jax wanted an excuse to go to the girls' room.
See, this is where I wrote, I actually do think he needed one. I actually do think he needed one. I think he would have gone to the girls' rooms regardless. But if you can tell the few clips leading up to it, he's not mic'd. The lights are out. You can't even see him of him starting to say, I need a where's the blow dryer? Anyone have a blow dryer? And then him putting on a shirt to be like, God damn it, I need a blow dryer.
You're right. And he did mention how many fucking times he needed a blow dryer. Like, it was so many times.
That made me think, oh, they had to find some clip to explain why he's going to the girls' room for a blow dryer. It can't have come out of nowhere because I don't think it did. But you never know. I'm very gullible.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I truly am of the world of like everything in the beginning of Vanderpump Rules happened very naturally.
Yes, me
like,
too.
I do believe that. So then Scheana doesn't have a blow dryer. Yeah, because he does ask Scheana. Scheana doesn't have one. So Jax heads down to the girls' room to ask for a blow dryer, but immediately starts spilling tea. And he tells them about what Scheana said in the van about wanting to get gangbanged by all of them.
And I knew Stassi would be upset. I didn't think she would be this upset. Like, they are all acting as if Scheana, like, took off her panties, opened up her vagina, and said, who's next? Let's get this show on the road. Like, it was a throwaway joke. Like, they all took it so seriously.
They just need an excuse to be mad at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was just like eye rolling. But it's funny because Jax thinks that by him telling Stassi this, it's going to make him like her more. But it actually ends up pissing her off because he didn't stick up for them. Like, and even that I was kind of like, oh, okay, like that's really not that big of a deal, which just goes to prove that they just want to bitch about something. They just want to be mad at someone.
Also, like, this was Jax articulating his demons again of like, oh, this was me manipulating Stassi because I thought if I could tell her this one thing, maybe she'd be nicer to me this weekend, and like all this stuff that shows his behind the scenes motivation in his brain to do things. He's showing us behind the curtain a little bit.
He's very calculated. And although I do understand Scheana's point of view on this trip of like not really wanting to hang around the girls, I also agree with Stassi that like it is her birthday and Scheana should be putting the differences aside to like even just like pop into the room and just say like, hey, just how are you? Like, I don't know, but I get it. It's just weird to invite someone on your birthday trip and have her not talk to you at all.
I would do that now at 25. I think I would be too. If this episode was a little triggering. I mean, like if talk about girls can be mean. I mean, the leaving out thing, the feeling like the popular girls hate you, like stuff like that. It does make you just like want to hide and not confront it and stay as far away and pretend it doesn't exist as much as you can until you can't. And we all saw how that turns out.
Then add the extra layer of it all being filmed and just you being like constantly berated on camera.
Oh God. Yeah. I felt bad for Scheana this episode.
I did too.
A little bit.
I feel even worse when they get to the Pink Kitty nightclub.
Oh my God. Pink Kitty.
So it starts out they're having fun. I mean, it's like a very standard like Mexico tourist nightclub, which are just so much fun. Tom and Kristen are even grinding with each other, which is
so funny because it was almost like a flashback scene to Laguna Beach when Steven and Kristen went to the Cabo club and were grinding, and it was such a big deal that they're
Isn't that the originator of Steven? Is that when she first says that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
God, I love reality TV.
And in that Cabo episode, that's when Steven calls her the SLUT word.
Oh
like
my
a
God,
million
you're
times.
right. You're right.
Yeah, so we need to pay respect to our ancestors.
Seriously. They paved the way.
And here we are again.
Something that I actually loved that they kept in the edit is Christina Kelly saying, I can't keep up with the way that they drink. Because, like, I know that they drank a lot, but even Christina being the same age as them, probably going out as much as them, like, they are just constantly ripping shots, drinking shots. I'm sure there was a little extra help, if you know what I mean, but.
Yeah, the amount of shots is uncanny, even for their age. I would be blackout so fast that I think they would kick me off the show. They'd be like, you aren't entertaining because we lose you quickly. Like, you are no longer coherent.
Well, Katie Maloney blacks out, definitely.
Yes.
But
unfortunately, I wouldn't go to that dark of a place, but we'll get there.
But what that all stems from is, and I kind of forgot that this was like how this all even happened. So I guess the group that's all in Cabo together bought a table with bottles, but is excluding Scheana and Scheana only from the table. They are all there together as a group at a table, but Scheana is not allowed to buy or drink the things that they got from their table, which is so weird. So much so that Kristen Doty even threatens to get security. That was such a Karen move. I will get security to escort you out. They're together.
I love that Scheana called the bluff. I was like, okay, do it, Kristen. Go get security. What is security going to do? I'm not doing anything.
It's crazy.
Oh, God.
So basically, Schwartz is being a nice guy, which honestly, I'm now understanding kind of Katie's point of view a little bit, because was it last episode or 2 episodes ago? I mean, Katie's being mean. Katie is being mean. She is being Tequila Katie. But Katie's outside upset. Schwartz is inside consoling Scheana. Now, Schwartz doing the same thing with Scheana. Now, knowing what I know now, that Schwartz and Scheana have made out around this time, I guess I can understand Katie being like, what the fuck? Can you please stop being nice to the girl that I don't like? But I also see Schwartz's point of view of like, you guys are all being so mean to her and she kind of just needs a friend. I get both sides.
I get both sides, and the sheet, let me assure you, gets both sides. And reflected in the sheet too, I was having a hard time with just that, because I was like, look, they're both at fault here because they're both in a very drunken drag out fight. They both get a lot of points, spoiler alert, but Schwartz gets a lot more.
He deserves a lot more.
Yeah, he gets more.
He definitely
how this plays out. Yeah.
So basically, now Katie and Schwartz are in this big fight outside. Schwartz calls her a moron. Not the first time that won't be the first time he calls her a moron this episode. And then this is where we get the iconic fight between Schwartz and Katie outside the club in Cabo, where Schwartz pours the beer on top of Katie's head.
He doesn't just call her a moron. He calls her a bitch, a fucking bitch, a bully, a fucking bully, and then, proceeds to dump a beer on his girlfriend's face.
Now, did you know that scene was actually reshot? And that him dumping the beer on her head was not how it originally happened. Kristen Doty revealed on her podcast maybe a year or 2 ago. I have it up right here. She says, I have a secret to tell you. The scene with Tom and Katie and the drink throwing really fucking happened. However, the exact moment where Schwartz dumped the drink, that one quick moment, was missed by cameras.
My jaw, again, when I get quiet on this, it's usually because my jaw is so slack-jawed. What?
Yeah, she said one of our DPs had set the camera down for 1 second or moved it off of their shoulders and missed the moment, We obviously felt so bad for the camera person because we love our crew. So the very next night, Tom and Katie had to go back to the same club and redo that one tiny part. She said everything you see leading up to it, us being there, everything, them consoling Katie, that's real. But only Tom and Katie reenacted that scene the next night. That's acting.
I was going to say, before your consideration, Emmy, like that was fantastic acting. Beautiful. Katie deserves a huge award for this. The way that she it escalated and it kind of maybe started as a mistake, but then it gets heated and oh God, that's artistic. It was so good.
I just couldn't imagine getting in such a bad fight with my boyfriend that he pours a drink over my head and that I'm willing to relive that a second time and on camera. But that's why Vanderpump Rules is the best reality show of all time.
That also adds more color to why Katie is so upset, because if she had to live this traumatic thing twice, how humiliating for her. Hey, Katie, would you mind going back to that club where you were just humiliated on the streets of Cabo by your own boyfriend? Yeah. Can you do it again? Can we all feel those things again? That'd be great.
But you got to give it to them. They did a great fucking job.
They committed to the bit. Oh my God.
Yes, that's a fun fact, a little piece of tea.
That is good tea.
But then obviously what Kristen was saying is everything that she has said between the girls, everything before and after that was in real time. And that's when Katie also says, I've been very judicious about my drinking. And she also says, he better be on his knees sucking my toes, sucking the toe jam out of my toes.
He better be. He doesn't.
Newsflash, yeah, he doesn't.
That's not gonna
then
happen.
We're at this Villa Rosa scene that you mentioned earlier, which is such a snooze. But we do hear more about how Lisa and Ken, their backstory. Basically, what they were saying without saying it is that Ken has fucked half of Europe and Lisa only had 2 lovers before Ken.
A water skier and a blind guy.
It was blind?
Wait, hold on.
What?
Wait. Let me see. I wrote it down.
Was it blonde?
Oh, I thought it was blonde. I heard it as blind, but it must be blonde.
I'm going to choose to believe that she fucked a blind man.
I like to think it was water skier and a blind guy, because that's...
you know what would be
much else.
You know what would be sick if it was a blind water skier. Now that would really be something.
A 2-in-1.
Yeah.
To get all 2 birds, 1 stone, for sure.
So now we're back at the Cabo Hotel. It's the same night of the Katie Schwartz fight. Katie's crying on the bed. Kristen's yelling from the other room, hey, slut bags, I'm making shots. Now it's interesting because during the scene, I did notice when Katie's crying on the bed, her hair isn't wet or messy. It's still straight and her makeup is perfect. So I'm wondering if when Schwartz poured the drink on her head the first time, it didn't really get that much on her, because what we see, she is doused.
Great point. Yeah, that's not consistent.
So, yeah, a bit of a continuity error there.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
They decide they're all going to go skinny dipping in the ocean, which looks so fun, but I would be so afraid I would be washed out at sea. I'm fucked up and I'm in these waves are so rough.
Hey, it's about time. We haven't said her name for, 40 minutes now. Sydney and Johnny, our other friend, we also mentioned on here, and I went to Mexico for a few days and we skinny dipped in the nighttime and it was so fun.
That sounds amazing.
I know, but it did look rougher in wherever they were.
I actually did I used to go skinny dipping in the ocean all the time at night in New Jersey. My friend had a beach house and it was it just became normal. It was it would hit a certain time, all right, time to walk to the beach and go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it was so it was guys and girls and we were all young, 19, 20 years old, but we never looked at each other. It was just this is what we want to do. And there is something pretty magical about it. But again, the waves were not as rough as they were that night in Cabo with those girls.
Yeah. No, I definitely, if it were my child, I'd say you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Respect the water. Don't do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Luckily, they had an entire camera and sound crew there watching them with bright light shining upon them.
Yes. And shining in every crevice they are.
Every crevice. Those editors sell a lot, that's for sure. It's the morning after. They're all down at the beach, and this is Stassi's actual birthday. And Tom and Katie have a talk, and they're rehashing what went on last night. And while they're having this talk, Stassi basically goes up to them, and she's like, hey, I know you guys had this like huge fight, and Katie is in shambles, but talk later. It's my fucking birthday.
That's what she said. And let me also tell you that the sheet reflects a rough estimation of not only how many times she said it's my birthday or it's my fucking birthday, it's my 25th birthday, and how many times she says the words my birthday the entire episode.
Good, because I was going to keep track, and I said, Carolyn's got it.
Yeah.
And this scene, it's just fun. They go on a boat, they climb on some rocks, they're checking each other out, everybody's hot, everyone's having fun, yada, yada, yada. Stassi and Kristen go topless in public again, which reminded me of when they went on that group trip when Lala and Faith went topless in public, and everyone was flipping out about it.
Lost their mind. That's such a good point, too. The double standards.
And I even remember Katie being like, you're just going to go topless in front of like other people's boyfriends. It's like Stassi and Kristen did that.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
It's a lot of full circle moments in this episode.
Yeah, totally.
And then they briefly go to a beach bar where Peter judges a wet t-shirt contest that to me looks more like the back room of a strip club. It's the most sexual wet t-shirt contest I've ever seen. It's a quick scene. Peter says it's very anti-boner.
He said it was anti-boner?
Yes.
I'm sure he had a boner.
He had boner the whole time.
There were nipples in his face. I mean,
how can you not? Yeah. I had a boner.
Female boner.
They're also quickly back at the hotel room, and it's funny because Stassi goes up to Katie and she's like, hey, I want to talk to you. And Katie immediately is like, please don't scold me. Which I'm like, that is not a good reaction to receive from your friend. It's like, Stassi, maybe you should do some reflecting if that's like Katie's immediate reaction to when you say you
what
want to
does
talk to her.
Stassi do?
She basically scolds her.
See, she scolds her.
But I kind of understood. I did right. I felt like it was kind of a valid request of her being like, hey, it's my birthday dinner. You guys got in a big fight last night. Also, I consoled you all night last night, all day this morning. Like, can you please just keep it together for tonight?
Oh, I did not like this scene from Stassi for a couple of reasons. Because one, I don't like how she makes Katie feel bad for saying, I don't understand how you were so upset, and then you're not. And then being upset at Katie for being upset. Like, that was weird. I didn't quite follow the logic of what she was saying. And also, Katie's having a really hard time, and literally no one has her back.
No one cares. You're right. No one really cares.
She is on her fucking own. Like, if I were her, I would have probably been like, Scheana, like me.
She's kind of like crying for help, but no one's hearing the cry.
No one hears it. And not even the people that her friends that saw her boyfriend do that horrible thing, which in that conversation, Stassi admits, oh, if that were my boyfriend, you know, I would have cut his penis up and chopped it into like an easy bake oven or whatever she says. But to not let Katie feel those things is like is a double standard.
I unfortunately think they're too used to toxic relationships. Think about it. Stassi and Jax fought all the time. Yeah. Toxic. Tom and Kristen fighting all the time. Toxic. So like when it happens between Tom and Katie, they're just so used to it.
Yeah.
And sure, Stassi can say she'd cut up his penis, blah, blah, blah. She put up with so much from Jax. It's like, it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, right? It's like, you're not any better than her. You've dealt with the same shit. Yeah.
And I assure you, Katie doesn't want to be crying on your birthday trip in Cabo. Like, I assure you she's trying. And I know, I understand there's two sides of it. Like, they are used to this, and they're used to, like, buttoning up their feelings or trying to. None of them are good at it. If it were Stassi, she would be bawling. She wouldn't shut up about it, probably.
Yeah.
And they probably would have all been like, I know, Stassi, I know. And you know Katie wouldn't have shamed her for feeling that way.
No, of course not. When Jax got a girl pregnant in Vegas, they understood Stassi getting back with him after that.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Well, so then we get to our final scene of the episode, which is the birthday dinner for Stassi. Mm-hmm. And it starts off with Jax giving her a gift, but it's not the main gift. The main gift is at home.
But Jax.
Pussy.
I love how he's like underplaying it. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. Like,
and he bought her really cute clothes too. She loved it.
Yeah, she really enjoyed it. And he just wants to, he wants to remain the guy that got away for her. And
You're
so these
so
are just
right.
little things that, don't think about it. These are just, everyone should have little baby things to open on their birthday. Like, he's so manipulative.
Again, yeah, calculated. Yeah, 100%. Then I know I've been sticking up for Scheana all episode, and this is where I'm like, Scheana, why the fuck? She asks Tom and Katie in front of everyone to basically rehash their fight they had the night before.
Yep.
Maybe now that I think about it, though, Scheana was kind of like, wait, what happened last night? I don't quite understand. Maybe what she was really asking is like, why did you guys just have to go and reshoot something?
Or, yeah, if she didn't see it, like Scheana wasn't even outside, it looks like. So she probably genuinely did miss it. She might not have known that it was as big of a deal of what actually happened. But also, I wouldn't put it past her for her to have known exactly how big of a deal was and to pinpoint the flaws of other people in the group, because they ain't perfect peaches either.
Exactly. And by her doing that, newsflash, Tom and Katie start fighting again. And newsflash again, he calls her a moron for the second time this episode.
Moron, selfish. I mean, I feel bad for Katie.
He is berating her. He is gaslighting her. He is making her feel less than. I'm noticing it more and more with all the time she says, like, you know how like a couple episodes ago she's like, I hate me more than you hate me.
Yeah.
This episode she goes like, I'm a piece of shit. I think it's because the way that Tom talks to her, she genuinely believes that she is all the things that he tells her she is.
Oh, it's horrible.
They should not be together.
Yeah, they should not be together. And I hope that he looked back on these.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't, because we see how this plays out for the next 6 seasons. Like
he even says at one point, stop the charade, which I'm like, Tom, stop the charade. You're ruining everyone's mood.
Yes.
He's tearing her apart.
And then Kristen tears her apart of being like, no. And then Stassi's tearing her apart. And Stassi's just telling Katie to apologize.
Right.
Like, for what? I feel so bad. I just want to give Katie a hug.
I know. So then, okay, so this is what I thought about. In this scene, they're at this big group dinner. Katie is having a mental breakdown, essentially. She's crying. She's basically having a panic attack. Schwartz is sitting there doing absolutely nothing, letting her, watching her, kind of being the catalyst of all of this. You know what it's giving? Will and Emmy from Southern Hospitality.
Oh, man.
Of Will just doing nothing while Emmy is losing her goddamn mind.
I don't know what it says about me, but that gave me goosebumps. That is a comparison. Because at that dinner, Emmy is left to fend for her goddamn self.
At least Schwartz shows up to more things than Will shows up to, but it's this classic Bravo guy trope of, I'm not doing anything, like Craig Conover, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, it's just like, but you're not like the little puppy dog.
It also shows how far we've come, like, even within 10 years, how different it can be looking back on something of like, white men, like male privilege. Like, this is so quintessential of like, I can do whatever I want and you need to be okay with it.
Right. Well, it's funny because Will from Southern Hospitality just kind of sucks, but it's like, maybe it is how far we've come, because I don't think people are letting Will get away with this shit. You know, it's like people don't like Will, but back then, like, how could people like Schwartz? Like, look at the way he's talking to his girlfriend.
And all the stuff about Will are like 2 rumors. Do you know the amount of rumors that have gone on in this group, that if we drug out every rumor that they've had, we'd still be watching the show.
Will's just not good at it. You know, it's like Tom, Jax, Sandoval, Craig, Shep, Austin, all these dudes are just good at making people feel bad for them. Will's just not good at making people feel bad for him. There's no like, oh, but I love Will. It's like, just like how people will, knowing what we know about Jax, there are still people that are like, but I love Jax. Like, he means well. He doesn't.
I listened to his episode the other day with Alex Baskin of him. And I want to believe the best in Jax, but I just have my doubts, because we've watched him for over 10 years doing the same old shit.
Exactly.
But I hope he's getting help. I hope he does get better.
Yeah, and that's where our episode ends, with Katie crying at the dinner.
Oh, Lasai, what an episode. Are you ready for the sheet?
I'm ready for the sheet.
Here we go. Now, you do need to sit back for this one, because there's a lot that goes on. Okay, I need to explain some of these too. Okay, so I tried to count how many times Stassi said, It's my birthday.
You
Iterations.
probably ran out of numbers.
And the iterations include it's my 25th birthday, it's my fucking birthday, whatever. Shockingly, I only got 7 for this. Now, the episode is only 21 minutes, so that is averaging around every 3 minutes she does say it. Now, how many times she just says the words, my birthday? I lost track because I like fast forwarded through a couple things when I was counting these. I got 18. I'm sure it's more in the 20 somethings. Let's see. So I give her a point for those each because it's iconic and hilarious. Jax comes to Stassi's birthday trip to Cabo uninvited. I gave him a point, even though we know if she really didn't want him to come, no, he would have shown up anyway. That's what he did last year. The girls are mean girling Scheana, leaving her out at the airport with shots. I gave them a point. I needed to give them some mean girl points because there's like little things every here and there. And
yeah, no, I agree.
Scheana said she'd rather be gang banged by the van full of men than be in the van with the girls. I did give her 2.
It's a weird thing to say in front of your boyfriend and in front of your friend's boyfriend.
It was a big deal. And with the lore of the show, it does go down as an epic quote. Stassi mean girls Scheana for carrying a pillow. Scheana has a weird explanation for why she's carrying the pillow.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about how Scheana was like, I need a Tempur-Pedic pillow because I grind my teeth at night. It's always something with Scheana, I swear to God.
She has a weird explanation for bringing the pillow with a breakdown of her teeth grinding preventative measures. Jack stirs up shit by telling the girls what Scheana said about gang banging, admitting to purposeful manipulation, 1. Okay, here's another one because I had to be consistent. Stassi brings up the tattoo. I said if she ever did it, she'd go on the board.
Oh, she does say that you have my name tattooed on my arm and you don't even stick up for me.
Stassi sends weird messaging with the tattoo by telling Jax to prove himself and stick up for her, even though they're not dating. But he should because he got her name tattooed on his arm. It's confusing. Gave a point. The girls mean girl Scheana at the club, not letting her drink alcohol or sit at the table. I gave Stassi 1, but I gave Katie and Kristen 2 because they were more the like heads of that. Right. Katie gets really mad at Tom for buying Scheana a shot. I gave her a point. Tom and Katie get into a screaming match outside of the club. I gave them both a 2. It was a really big fight. Tom calls Katie fucking stupid, a fucking bitch, a bully, and ignores her feelings. I gave him a 3.
Good. Yes, thank you, Carolyn. Yes, I
Tom
agree.
pours an entire drink on Katie's head. I did give him a 5.
Yes, it's needed. That's a season 2 5. That is a season 2 5. The first 5 of season 2, it has to go to that.
Has to be a 5. I was like, maybe it's a 4. And I was like, no, fuck it. This is what we reserve the 5s for.
Yes.
Stuff like this. Sandoval says he understands why Tom poured the drink on Katie's head because you can only take so much. I had to get him on the board.
I literally forgot Tom Sandoval was even in this episode, to be honest with you.
I gave him a point. Tom says that Tom didn't pour the drink. It tipped out of the rim, which we didn't even talk about that ridiculousness.
Well, but that I'm wondering if it's like, maybe it did, and then when they reshot it, they decided to pour it over her head.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. We don't know what the original drink spill was like.
That's a good point.
But no, keep it how you have it, Carol, because you didn't. We should be watching this as the viewers watched it, not with what we know now.
Right, you're right. Okay. Tom doesn't really apologize to Katie, doubling down on her being a bitch. She was looking for an apology, and he was just like, no, but you're a bitch. And that gave him a 2. Stassi says she's not throwing the It's My Birthday card and then throws the It's My Birthday card by shaming Katie for being upset about her boyfriend throwing a beer in her face and saying she doesn't understand how she was so sad and then okay. The whole conversation was confusing to me.
It's a mess.
I gave it a 2. Schwartz says he accidentally spilled the drink on Katie yet again. I gave it a 2 because it just is a weird thing for him to keep denying. Katie and Schwartz fight at Stassi's B-Day dinner. I gave them both a 1. Scheana asks what happened at Stassi's birthday table, knowingly inciting chaos. I gave her a 1. But you're right. We don't know. I only gave her 1 because I was like, I don't know how much she did know. So we'll see. The girls have no sympathy for Katie at the table, telling her to stop bitching. I gave Stassi and Kristen a 2 for this. Schwartz says Katie is being selfish. I gave him another 1. So with that, the totals are Stassi at 11, Jax,
still so low. Oh my God, crazy.
Jax is somehow at a 2, but he didn't really do a whole lot crazy this episode.
Oh, this is just for the episode. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, this is just the episode. Scheana 4, Kristen 5, Sandoval 1, Schwartz 18.
Oh, deserved.
Katie 7, Ariana 0.
Dude, Schwartz is finally making an appearance on the board.
2 4. And he came in with a splash.
Literally.
Okay, so totals.
Carolyn, did you hear your joke you just made?
No,
He
what
came
I
in
say?
with a splash.
I didn't even get it. And
That was good.
Thank you for catching my genius.
That was good.
That's
Anyways,
what
go on.
That's what I have you for. Okay, in last place we have Ariana. This is total. Ariana at 9. Then we have Katie at 17. Okay. Then we have Schwartz at 21, which I will say before this, he wasn't even on the board. So
Yeah.
he shot up quickly. Just to show you how quickly, then he is tied. No, okay. He was almost tied, but Scheana crept ahead with Scheana with 23. And then we have 4th. Okay, Stassi at 4th with 28 points. Sandoval in 3rd with 31 points. Jax in 2nd with 41 points. And Kristen in 1st with 51 points.
Damn, Kristen's still in 1st and she didn't even have that big of an episode this episode.
I will say the gap is closing in between Jax and Kristen. I think
it is.
Jax can catch back up here.
I wouldn't be surprised if they end on a tie because of what we're about to learn this season. Oh, I can't wait for next episode. I actually just recently rewatched this upcoming episode.
Just for shits and giggles?
Because we'll talk about it next time, but they go to a lot of the places I went to when I was in Cabo, so I just had to see it.
Yo, that's so fun.
Actually, I think one of our gabbers told me in a YouTube comment, so then I went back and rewatched it, yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
well,
so we'll talk about that next
start.
episode. But this was a great episode, and I really enjoyed talking about it with you.
Yay! Thanks everyone for listening. As always, rate, subscribe, like, talk about, share, enamor, all the things. We really appreciate it.
Great words, Carolyn.
Thank you, Catherine. And with that,
See ya.
see ya. Bye.